Hi everyone! In this video, we are going to see the summary and analysis of the poem I Find No Peace, written by Thomas Wyatt. Here, we are going to analyze the form, structure, themes, tone, and literary devices used by the poet in this poem. It is the translation of Petrarch's sonnet 134. Sir Thomas Watt was a 16th century English politician, ambassador, and lyric poet credited with introducing the sonnet to English literature. He was born in 1503 in Kent, England. His mother was Annie Skinner and his father was Sir Henry Wyatt. His spouse name is Elizabeth Brooke and had 4 children named Thomas Wyatt the Younger, Henry, Francis, and Edward. He received his education at St. John's College, Cambridge. He died on 11th October 1542 in Dorset and buried at Sherborne Abbey in Dorset. His first major book was Tottle's Miscellany, which was written in 1557 and printed 15 years after his death. Let's see the summary of the poem now. The narrator of the poem is the poet himself. He expresses his intense emotions and wavering moods because of being in love through contradictory ideas. In the first line, he says that I have no peace of mind despite having no war to fight. Then he says, I am hopeful, yet afraid. I am ablaze, yet frozen. I am soaring, yet cannot take off. And I have nothing, yet I hold the whole world. Then he says, though there are no locks strong enough to imprison me, I cannot escape. Here, he indirectly says that he is bound by love in an inescapable prison. In the next line, he says, let me live or die at my own will and give my death a reason. Here, he feels that he has no control over his life or death. Then he says, in love, I can see without my eyes and complain without a tongue. I wish to expire and yet demands good health and strength to live. In the next line, he reveals that I love another. Therefore, I cannot love myself. And so I hate myself. I revel in joy, in sorrow, and laugh in all my discomforts. I dislike both life and death, although the situation is almost like a living death, and the cause of my pain is my greatest pleasure. The poet concludes his poem by saying that all these conflicting emotions are due to his misery of being in love. He compares love to his delight, since that is his greatest pleasure, yet it has become his struggle. This poem is the translation of Petrarch's sonnet 134. Confusion, ambiguity, wavering of feelings and intense emotions connected with love are the subjects of this sonnet. The poem explores the complex nature of love and its effect on the one who loves. The poet's misery of being in love is expressed through contradictory ideas. Wyatt is credited with introducing the sonnet to English literature. This poem is an example of a Petrarchan sonnet in English. This poem is structured in a single stanza following the Petrarchan structure. The 14 lines of the poem is divided into 2 parts, octave and sestet. The first 8 lines are in octave and the next 6 lines are in sestet. The rhyming scheme of the poem is A B B A B B A, C D E, C D E. The theme of the poem is love. That is the forbidden love that makes him feel unease. The poem delineates the nature of love as something that could make a person feel sorrow, pain, joy, and confusion at the same time. It shows the complexities of being in love and the emotional fluctuations of the narrator. The tone of the poem goes hand in hand with the theme of the poem. It identifies the speaker to be in some sort of mental conflict. The tone pictures the speaker's emotional imbalance as a result of this unsettled love. It switches from being sad to dark and to unsettled. The words death, fear, hope, sorrow, burn, and no peace express the tone and the pain of the speaker. The tone is one of torment and conflict, as he is torn between life and death. The title of the poem itself foreshadows how the poet does not find peace while he is in love. He uses a lot of contradictory concepts: fear and hope, burn and freeze like ice, find no peace, and all my war is done, to express his ambiguous state of mind. Many lines of the poem feature opposing ideas, as in his I desire to perish and yet I ask health. The narrator wants to die but also desires health. The word yet is in many of these lines, symbolizing the narrator's torn conscience. The poet used a series of oxymoron in this poem, like love and hate, sorrow and pain, death and life, delight and strife, peace and war, fear and hope, burn and freeze. The author uses the simile to compare himself to ice, yet uses the opposites, burn and freeze, to highlight the confusion of his love. He also uses metaphors such as that looseth nor locketh holdeth me in prison, meaning that he is neither free nor held in prison. This comparison is also a hyperbole used for the poet exaggerates that nothing could bind him except his love for his beloved. The poet uses anaphora in the poem to draw attention to the speaker. I, repeated twice in most of the lines of the poem, is used as an anaphora. By beginning the poem with I find no peace, I fear and hope, I burn and freeze like ice, the poet wants the reader to take a note of it and understand his emotions more. Thank you for listening.